word active and aggressive is how we're going to get our brand to where we need to be. And that's both from a standpoint of us pushing it, but also our fans, jumping on board. We have to provide good opportunities for them to say, you know what, I want that.
I think we're off to a great start. We got a ton of room for improvement. Our staff's on the road right now in terms of finishing up the high school class and the classes moving forward.
The process is going to remain the same. The process that got me here, the process that allowed me to dominate all season in Idaho, that's going to remain the exact same, and that's what you can expect from me on Saturdays on the field.
Here we go. We are back with this edition of the Inside WSU Athletics podcast presented by BECU, and we've got a lot to get to. This is just a packed-filled, juicy episode of the podcast. Coming up, we've got Brad Hutchins is going to join us. We've got Kirby Moore. How about that? The head coach, the WSU football program. We're not just talking football with Kirby Moore. We got a student athlete stopping by as well, and Matyus McLain, someone who had an impact going against the Cougs last year, and really excited to have him wearing crimson and gray moving forward. And with that, we bring in the interim director of athletics at WSU, Jon Haarlow. Jon, you look pretty fresh, but I know you've logged some miles. You've had an eventful stretch. Can you tell Coug fans everywhere what you've been up to?
Yeah, it's been good. Good to see you, Chris. I'm excited for this episode. I appreciate being invited back for a second opportunity. I wasn't sure after the first one, so we'll see how the second one goes here. But been a good week. I was I think I put it on social media, but had an opportunity to travel down to the national championship game down in Miami, and I'm a Coug through and through, but my alma mater is Indiana, and so went down there for work purposes. Had all sorts of discussions when we were down there. That's a great spot to connect with people, whether that's commissioners or ADs or corporate CEOs or others that are just in the space. Had a lot of productive conversations down there, but I also very much was rooting on my alma mater, a very unpredictable, or certainly not something I thought I would see. But the whole time I was watching that game, I kept thinking that it's all possible with the right things, and the why not us type of mentality there. I'm not saying that just to kind of create smoke, but I really do think when there's alignment within an organization and there's a shared common goal and a shared vision, that things can come together and achieve the highest level of success. And what a great story that they're able to tell, a great case study that the investments that they've made there, and now they're in a situation where they're setting application records and enrollment records and out-of-state enrollment records. And there's this case study to be had there, and it shows the importance. And no bias here as an athletics employee, right? But the showcases the importance of what athletics can do to a brand and a representation, and share the message of what an institution is doing. So a jam-packed couple of days. Took a lot of takeaways from the game production down there as well. Went as part of the Pac-12 contingent. Super grateful to Teresa and sharing some time with her down there. She's wonderful. She leads out the Pac-12, obviously from the front, with a bold vision that she continues to put us in the right spaces. And she's been tremendously wonderful to me in my career. And so grateful for that. So good to see some colleagues, some friends, and enjoy a great football game, an inspirational one, to come back here and get to work.
Well, it sounds like an incredibly productive trip, and great having you down there representing the Cougs. And with that, the close of the football portal there. We'll get into the portal with Kirby Moore coming up, but that we talk about the portal a lot. There was a ton of success for the Cougs, but the portal is now closed.
Yeah, now closed. So there's still players, student athletes out there that haven't found a landing spot, but no more student athletes can enter the portal. But what a productive couple of weeks here for the Cougs. And there was never a doubt. If you ask anybody on our side, there's never a doubt that we can make these types of things happen. You listen to Coach Moore and Coach Bray, Coach Miller, share their vision of what the program can be, to chase and pursue in a real procedural, realistic opportunity to pursue a Pac-12 championship. Year 2026, the year of the Pac-12. This is our year. I'm here for this. I've shared this with a group this morning. Of no interest in getting a participation trophy or just, checking boxes. Like, I want to relentlessly pursue championships, and it's about the process. And we can watch these these coaches, and we've had success in, not to switch sports on you, but had some success with volleyball and soccer and all of those. Like, we're seeing the fall take a really nice shape. And so, everyone that said, well, our student athletes will never stay here. Well, guess what? They're staying at a high clip because what we have available here. And we'll never win the transfer portal battle. Well, guess what? We're beating some pretty prestigious programs out of opportunities for players. And so I think once, more familiarity, and it seems like Coach Moore's been here forever already because of all the high impact, high visibility stuff that he's done, but they're just getting started. And we're seeing the opportunities of what NIL can provide in real time. And you'll continue to hear myself and our staff preach, go to the CAF. You can give a tax deductible gift through the CAF that can go towards NIL. And we need that. We've had some success, but we still have opportunities there. And it's going to take a large contingent of individuals to get us to where we want to be. And we've tasted a little bit of what we would call success in the portal. Well, guess what? There's more to be done there, and we can do that. So I think we'll have a QR code that'll pop up here on the pod. Look at us being all technologically advanced here. But it's been really good. And so now it's taking all of those and getting them to buy into the culture. And I have zero doubt that Coach Moore and his crew is gonna do that. There is never been a more exciting time, in my opinion, to be a Coug with the opportunities that lie in front of us. This is our league. It's ours to hold on to, and I don't want anybody to take that from us. So I think we got the right group in the right positions to go chase hoisting a trophy.
Well, and you're setting the stage perfectly, as we will have Kirby Moore joining us a little bit later on. And I know folks excited to hear straight from Coach and to get the latest update from him as well. And, just thinking back, John, since our last edition of the podcast, a large number of Cougs were together for the Gonzaga game at Beasley Coliseum. Just want to get your thoughts about the energy around that Gonzaga game.
Yeah, it's obviously the result that we didn't want to have happen there, but we certainly show glimpses there, believe in what Coach Riley is doing thoroughly, but to have the energy in that building like we did. The Spokane market is a place that we want to control. We want to own that battlefield up there. We want them to be Cougs and to come. It shows how electric Beasley can be when there's 8,000 plus people in there. And we've got opportunities. We've got to continue to push that to draw those folks back in. But the energy in there was electric. And we had all sorts of former Cougs back in the building, and great opportunities to showcase what we can be when we get that collective energy together.
Well, a handful of updates here, and someone who was on our last edition of the podcast. You talk about energy, just a shot in the arm of just excitement. We're talking WSU soccer. Chris Chidovitsky, his introductory press conference will be on Monday, January 26th. That will be at 2:00, and excited for that. And then, kind of just the overall getting up to speed on what's going on for all the programs. It's a busy time. Talking men's hoops, of course, Gonzaga last week at San Francisco on Sunday, San Diego on Wednesday, and then coming up at home after that road trip to California. That's going to be against Pepperdine at 3:00 on Saturday. Women's basketball victory last week at St. Mary's, home against San Francisco. This week at Pacific on Thursday. Track and field beginning the 2026 indoor schedule at the UW preview, and multiple personal bests were set at that meet, and that is really neat to hear about that. Tennis beginning the 2026 spring schedule at Idaho, opened with the win at Idaho. This week, the ITA kickoff weekend in Athens, Georgia against San Diego State, and then either Maryland or number one Georgia. So they are very busy, a lot going on there. And then swimming opening the spring season at Northern Colorado Friday and Wyoming Saturday. John, there's so much going on. I need to catch my breath after that.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities to catch the Cougs, to support the Cougs. It's a great opportunity for plenty of men's, women's basketball games to come to here in Beasley. Get there. They want your support. They feel your support. So let's get there, be there in person. Baseball tickets are on sale. I'm excited about what Coach Choate has for the spring. A lot of veterans coming back there, returning a significant amount of starters there. I think they're going to be in a great spot. And then always have to push football tickets now on sale as well. I thoroughly believe 2026 on the Palouse here is not going to be one you want to miss. So Cougar football Saturdays are going to be electric. We've obviously got all sorts of updates that we're working on inside Gisa Field. It's going to be a party on the Palouse, I think, and we want the energy around the field, around the stadium to match what I believe the energy is going to be on the field.
Well, with that, we've got Brad Hutchins coming up, then Kirby Moore going to be stopping by this episode, and Matyus McLain will join us as well. We will get to that, but first, that word support, a big thank you to our sponsor, BECU. A word here from BECU. We'll be back with Brad Hutchins right after this.
How do you spot a Coug in the wild? Head to toe crimson, gray, and, well, anything except purple? A simple "Go Cougs" at an airport halfway around the globe? Or maybe just a little pride from BECU and some extra money in your pocket when you pay for your tacos. Get the card Cougs everywhere recognize. Join today. BECU. Go Cougs.
Well, again, a big thank you to our podcast sponsor, BECU, and excited to have our first guest of the show joining us here today. Jon, can you tell us who we have hopping on?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So we're joined now by Brad Hutchins, our Chief Revenue Officer. Brad joined us, I think it's been back in August, and hit the ground running as soon as he got here. I'm thankful for Brad. I've known and worked with Brad for 15 plus years now. He's somebody I've relied on heavily throughout my career. I think he's an expert in a lot of our external spaces. I probably should have done this before he got on here. I don't want his head to get too big on this, but we're thankful for him. There's a lot of the things that our fan base are seeing out there externally. Brad's a leader behind that. And so we're grateful for him joining us. Brad, if you don't mind, we just launched the Clock Tower collection for men's basketball. We've been more aggressive in some of those spaces with the brand. Maybe talk about some of the things that we're doing there and what your vision's been.
Yeah, I would tell you, first of all, I appreciate the kind words, Jon. You've been an excellent leader for this department. And your experience on campus as well in athletics is really critical as we move forward in this new landscape of athletics. But yes, I would tell you during our early discussions, we were talking about how can we monetize our brand a little bit better? How can we be more active in our community, both with our CEF donations as well as in building relationships, as well as in retail. So one of the key things that we worked through first getting on board was aligning our partnership with Nike. We just signed a 3-year deal with them. And when you're working with Nike, you're talking about collabs. The more retail items we sell, the better our Nike deal will be moving forward. So twofold, right? A, we want to generate more revenue. B, we also want to provide better options for our fans. So starting this past fall, we worked with the Wazoo collection, the Walking Butch collection, the Made of Crimson collection, and just recently we just released the Clock Tower collection. And all of those collabs are better for our fans, better for our programs, better for our student athletes, and provide new options and new revenue for both Nike and for the Washington State University. So those are key moving forward.
Yeah, it's been awesome to watch because there's nothing like our brand, right? You see this logo.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you travel, you're getting to Go Cougs, and there's visibility. And I believe from an institution standpoint, there's nothing that creates the exposure and elevates this brand like what we're able to do through athletics. And I think we've continued to show an aggressive pace there, and I think our fan base can continue to watch for some things and some new drops moving forward. Is that fair to say?
No doubt. Yeah, 100%. I would tell you that Jeremy Foss, our trademark licensing director, is out in Las Vegas right now meeting with potential licensees, also talking about our brand. How can we build it, make it better? And those options are going to be key moving forward. So, in late December, they saw our release with Dry Fly Distillery, the Cougar Reserve 1890. That was a way to monetize our brand, but also provide a cool option for Cougar fans out there, both in, Washington and abroad. So, there will be more releases. We are working on more projects. We will not stop. Jon knows this. The word active and aggressive is how we're going to get our brand to where we need to be. And that's both from a standpoint of us pushing it, but also our fans, jumping on board. We have to provide good opportunities for them to say, you know what, I want that. How come we don't have that, and be open about it too?
Yeah, it's been really cool to watch the feedback, and we follow that. We watch that. We're paying attention. We want to hear that. That way we're serving people where they are, and that's the only way we get better together. Maybe pivot a little bit, Brad, because you're also leading our CAF, Cougar Athletic Fund extension as well. Scholarships continue to be important in the lifeblood to how we move forward, but we're seeing in the pivot of the NCAA, NIL is the most transformational opportunity for us going forward. And we're seeing that in real time. So maybe talk about how people can get involved in that.
Yeah, I would tell you, beginning in August, we put together a strategy and we worked on executing it. I would say that goes along with our fan enhancement project, our locker room project, but also the ability to donate to our sport excellence funds moving forward. That fund is a tax-deductible fund. It's really easy to do. You can go to WSUCougars.com, go to any sport page, click on the donate button, and you'll be able to donate specifically to that sport. Now, that option is NIL or coach's discretion, and that's key, right? Because not every program utilizes NIL. Some want to use it to go put towards scholarships, but it's key, especially for football and men's and women's basketball. We're seeing it more now in volleyball. I can tell you it's going to be a continual progression for that for all of our programs. But for the most part, I would tell you we're trying to make it easier for Coug fans to give.
Yeah, and I think with that, I think there'll be a QR code popping up on the stream here. Fans, if you scan that, give you access to the excellence pages where you can make a donation that, again, goes to a coach's discretion, which can be utilized for NIL. And we continue to talk about how important that is moving forward. Again, we're seeing it in real time with our football student athletes. We're having success. We're getting kids to stay because they believe in what we're doing here. That's the future of it. And we're not done, right? We've seen some success, but in order to have continued success, we've got to keep that motor churning at a high RPM. So that's the future for us.
You're 100% right. Recruit, retain, and elevate. Recruiting helps them get them here. Retaining them keeps them here for a couple years, right? And elevating. You also not just elevate the WSU brand, but help us elevate the student athlete brand, because that's key too as they move forward in their progression. 7th largest alumni network. We have 50K alums in Spokane. All of those are areas that we have been active in and will continue to be. Like, think about since August, John, we've been to Portland, we've been to Seattle, we've been to Spokane multiple times, and we're going back. And we have more events planned with Coach Moore's arrival. So, anytime, anywhere, active and aggressive. You tell us that we can't do it, we're going to do it.
I like that. It's the attitude season, and I think that we're absolutely here, and I think that we can compete for championships. I was talking about it this morning, and that's what I'm not interested in being, the scrappy underdog or the little brother anymore. I believe the Pac-12 is our conference, and it's our opportunity to lead that. And by leading it, that's competing for championships. In order to do that, we have got to get into the NIL space, and donors are stepping up, but it's going to be a multitude of that. And I'm saying this as a call to action to those that are watching or listening. We're not done. We want to continue to have that. We absolutely believe that there is a path to a championship out there. But again, it's going to take everybody involved.
It's an education process, right? Yep. On top of that, we talked about this earlier, John. If a student athlete wants to go somewhere else, kudos to them. They can go somewhere else and be a number, or they can stay here and be a legend. And that's what our goals are. Recruit, retain, elevate.
And there's nothing quite like being a Cougar legend. If I just say that it's in an air of its own, and we hold them in the highest regard. You can't walk up and down the halls here without talking about legends. Those are daily conversations, and there's opportunities for that. And I believe we're going to see that come to fruition in the fall. Chris, anything else for this part?
I would just say big thanks to Brad for all of his hard work, and it's just exciting to hear this. There's so much positive momentum, and listening to kind of the front end of that and knowing what has happened recently, what's to come, and then all the ways to make an impact and to be involved. So this is exciting stuff, and this is a perfect transition into our conversation coming up next with Kirby Moore. So with that, we'll let Brad loose, but appreciate the time, and thanks so much.
One quick word. Listen, we're only as good as our staff. We have a very talented CAF staff, both on the development officers as well as in the annual fund. We have a great marketing team. We have a great comms team. We're building here. We're not where we need to be just yet, but we're getting there. And that's going to be our attitude moving forward. Like, you tell us we can't do it, shoot, we're going to figure out a way to get it done.
Well said, Brad. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Coming up next, on that note, we will chat with Kirby Moore. Well, here we go. We have the podcast debut of someone I know Coug fans everywhere are excited to hear from. John, can you tell us who we are welcoming in here today?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. This one with heavy anticipation. Obviously excited to have Coach Moore on the podcast, 36th head football coach. Coach Kirby Moore. We could insert the applause soundbite here as we bring him in. Coach Moore, great to see you.
Yeah, you guys too, Chris and John. Appreciate you guys having me on.
So I think we've hit the 6-week mark since you were announced as the head football coach. A lot of things have happened since then, but maybe describe, if you can, what the last 6 weeks have been like.
Yeah, it's been busy, good busy. Right away, right, getting off the plane here at Missouri and meeting the players, right, coming into meeting 105 guys right where they're at, and in terms of getting an understanding of what they've been through, where we're at. Obviously, we all know the climate within college football right now, and it was about having a ton of transparency with those guys. And so was here within that week, meeting with the players. And then it was really important for me not to be sitting at a desk. I wanted to travel with the team, be in Boise there, communicating with the players, meeting parents. Did guarantee the kids we were going to go home to Missouri for 3 days for Christmas. So made sure we did that. Came back on the 27th of December with the staff. And then right away, we've been hitting the ground running in terms of retaining players. And I think super grateful and appreciative for the guys who've chosen to be here. And I think we got a great nucleus there. And then our staff's done an unbelievable job. We've probably had over, 40 guys visit within the portal and have, I think, found some great fits to Washington State. And from a culture standpoint, guys who've had production, and then really got into the semester here right away.
You mentioned that phrase, Coach, hit the ground running. I think you've been at like a 4-minute mile pace. It's incredible what you have been able to do. And something you touched on there was the staff. You've put together a tremendous staff. Can you tell us how all that came together?
Yeah, pretty quick, naturally, because it's really important in terms of making sure we're having clarity for the players in terms of them having an understanding of their environment, right, moving forward. Obviously, they were getting to know me. They want to know from, right, their position coach, from their coordinator. So we had a couple guys from Missouri there who were with us there at the bowl game. Obviously, Matt was in Boise at the time, so I think that was a great opportunity for him to be around the guys. And then getting Trent Bray in, right? I'm the only one doing something new, right? Matt's called good offense. Trent Bray's called really good offense. Sage has called really good special teams. And I go back to my experience, right? I was at Fresno State in 22 when we were playing Oregon State, really competitive game. And he was getting after us a little bit on third down. I'm like, gosh, right. I just had that in my mind, right, when this opportunity presented itself. And so it was right, the perfect situation. He came to Boise, had a lot of really good dialogue, and felt like it was a good fit for everyone.
Well, the transfer portal. We want to know, is it as wild as it appears from the outside? And what are the keys to having success in the portal? By all accounts, you, the staff, the Cougs have just been thriving when it comes to the portal this year.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the middle there. It's definitely busy. I really give a ton of credit, right, to our staff in terms of being very thorough and communicating. Right, communication is at a premium. Brad Larondo, coming from Mizzou, who he was in charge of a lot of our NIL collective responsibilities there at Missouri. So he's done an unbelievable job in terms of communicating with reps and agents and just how quick those timelines are, right? Second, the portal opening, and then getting guys here on campus, the third, fourth, fifth, and just throughout that whole portal. It's just very important for when guys get onto campus, right? They have as many answers as possible.
One of the things with that, Coach, and this is a little off script here, but with you being in Boise and having some of the staff there too, I mean, it's kind of an unusual situation that we went through there. But in my perspective, it added some value to the ability to have conversations with players and parents, and maybe talk a little bit about how that helped during that time.
Yeah, it was huge because everyone has to be on board, right? And I won't get into the specifics, but right away in Boise, right, I was meeting with specific position groups. Honestly, the offensive line, right? I'll say that. I took one morning and I met with 6 offensive linemen before meetings because I know we can drop all the plays we want, but if we can't, right, run the ball or protect the quarterback, it's going to be difficult. And then naturally, right after the game, right, with parents being there, and there was a couple of situations where I was right there, right, with one of our student athletes and his parents. And again, there's no questions off limits, and just making sure they felt comfortable about the situation moving forward, because naturally, right, they've been through a little bit of transition there, and just them getting to know me getting to know them in a short amount of time.
You really have done a tremendous job assembling a staff that has veterans at all of the places, whether you mentioned Coach Sage or Coach Bray, Coach Miller. Brad LaRondo, I think, is somebody who has come in here and been transformational for us as an institution, pushes us in a great way. And DVD, a veteran in the game too. You've surrounded yourself with an all-star group, which I think has been tremendous to watch come together. The success that you've had retaining or recruiting in the portal, what yours or some of the coaches that they're meeting with, the pitch to get them to come here, whether that's staying or taking a chance to come to a new institution?
Yeah, really the opportunity, right? You look at the new landscape of the Pac-12 conference, and I think there's a great opportunity for us to be successful here on offense, defense, special teams, and them getting a feel for our coaches, position coaches, and that environment. And that we're teachers first, so we got to be unbelievable teachers in terms of clear, concise, repetitive. Our coordinators and them getting a feel because they got to live it here, right? They got to live the 365, and them feeling comfortable with that environment. Also myself, and then our strength program. I think Malcolm Hardman coming from Missouri, and that was a huge part of our success, was developing that elite edge in the weight room at Missouri. And I think that's something we're off to a great start here.
Well, and Coach, a renovation of the football locker room has begun. How important is that for the program? Very important. The players spend as much time in that locker room as any other facility, right, within this space. And I think it's going to be great, the timing, right? Getting done there in July. Obviously, we'll finish up the summer, and then fall camp, right? Those are kind of the dog days there where, you're starting early, you're finishing late. Guys are playing board games in there. Guys are taking naps. Guys are playing music. Obviously, they're getting to know their teammates through the fall camp experience.
Really has been incredible to watch some of our donors step up in the landscape that we are to make a project like that happen. And then I know we've talked about in previous opportunities, the renovations to the stadium. There are some incredible things from an infrastructure standpoint coming together at the right time to start a new conference too, which is a great opportunity. We've talked about it, you and I, Coach, but talk about Pac-12 football going forward. What you think the strength of the league? We've obviously played some of those in different iterations, so we're familiar with some of those teams. But talk about what you think that football landscape is going to look like.
Yeah, there's a lot of successful programs, right, in the new Pac-12 conference, and so things are going to be very competitive. I think the margins are going to be tight, and that's where we got to do a great job throughout the offseason of being situational masters with all those, different situations. I think you look at where college football's at right now, right? There's a lot of parity in all conferences. And so with that, there's a lot of one-score games, and it's the players being prepared for those situations and playing well under pressure. It's the coaches putting them in great situations to make those plays right within the fourth quarter. And so we're excited to compete with those programs. And again, I think it's going to be just a very, very exciting brand of football for people to watch.
You've been coaching for more than a decade. You come from a great football family. Did you always know that you wanted to be a football coach? Was that seed kind of planted from the very beginning?
Yeah, probably. I think my dad left, one of his fall practices. I was born in August, so he got away for a couple hours and helped out my mom there for a little bit, and then probably was back to practice. So naturally, growing up on the sidelines and Prosser, just their success from a high school standpoint of the conference titles, the state titles, and then going to Boise was a great experience for me, and just seeing the mentorship that those coaches had. I probably went through some injuries during my time, and those coaches always being there for me, them being great teachers. My senior year, I actually had a pretty extensive injury, maybe the fourth or fifth game we played at Fresno State. And then my way to stay involved was, all right, hey, I had a headset on. I started signaling. So probably the seed even started there of an understanding of the dialogue that was going on from coach to coach. And then Chris Peterson, takes the job at Washington. Where my senior year, I did take a little break there. And I was the receiver coach at College of Idaho, and I worked in medical sales for 9 months. And I realized I'm looking forward to this side receiver job at College of Idaho way more than the medical sales job, right? So that pushed me right away to get to Washington, and had a great experience there. And I really I'm a product of the environment that I've been around.
We're thankful for that recognition and that pivot back to full-time coaching there, Coach. You've talked about your familiarity with the history of WSU football and coming to practices growing up. How important are some of our WSU football legends and former players and what they've built here? Have you been able to connect with some of them, or how have those conversations been?
Yeah, it is their program. There is an open access any day, any practice. John, I just got off a Zoom this morning with Jed Collins, right?
Let's go.
Just reaching out to Jed, and a guy who played with Kellen a little bit there in the NFL, right? My first day here in Pullman, going to dinner with Jack Thompson. And I just, again, want to embrace the past and all of the wins, all the championships, all the Rose Bowl, right, opportunities that this program has been a part of, and make sure those guys are welcome home at any point. And then moving forward, right, obviously we'll have the spring game here coming up on the 25th of April, and that's something I want to make sure the alumni comes back to, and our players, right, meeting those guys, and again, being super, super appreciative for what they've done for them.
That brotherhood is something that you can't find that in other places. Being a former student athlete, understanding what those experiences, what they went through, and that connection, and them understanding that we want them back here to speak life into these student athletes and understand what opportunities are forward. And it's hard to replace or replicate that. So sorry, Chris, I interrupted, but I just think that's such an important element of this.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Coach, please. Yeah, Coach, please expand on that.
No, I just think it's going to take all of us, right, moving forward. And that's, I really appreciate the leadership here, right? John, President Cantwell, and everyone in terms of their support, obviously here in a short amount of time. And then as we continue to progress, right, it's going to take everyone from alumni to everyone in the region and the Northwest and the West Coast for us to get done, right, what we all want to get done here.
I was going to jokingly ask you, Coach, as a head coach, who's your favorite AD that you've worked with? If that was a little, my humor escapes most people. So
yeah,
I appreciate that.
Go, man. We're off to a great start. Yeah.
No doubt. And I think, Coach, when you were describing and you said spring, I think some ears perked up there, because that's sort of what are the next steps in the process here. What has you most excited about this spring?
Seeing the players, right? I am not going to make any plays out there on Saturdays in the fall, right? Saturdays are about our players, and our staff, I know, is going to do a great job of putting them in position to be successful. And so just looking forward to the spring, getting out there with them, and again, seeing what our strengths are, our areas of improvement. And that's going to start on March 26th on a Thursday. And then we'll go there. We'll go 3 days a week. It'll be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. We will get up to Spokane again for a practice. We'll have the coaches clinic on April 11th and 12th. And then finishing with the spring game on the 25th, which is going to be open access. Want as many people back as possible.
Coach, there's a lot of buzz out there right now, a lot of excitement. Coug Nation is fired up to watch what you're putting together. If you've got one little charge to them, some departing words to leave them with here, what would that be to Coug Nation?
Buckle up, right? It's, again, I think we're off to a great start. We got a ton of room for improvement. Our staff's on the road right now in terms of finishing up the high school class and the classes moving forward. Our staff and the weight room's off to a great start with those guys and attacking the lead edge. And then, right, there's going to be a progression to this offseason within getting the schematics up to par in terms of offense, defense, spring ball. And then, again, just as much support. And I think our players feel that right now through social media. But again, when the fall comes, we need Gisa Field rocking and being one of the harder places to play in the Pac-12 conference.
I love that. You mentioned it, and you put a bow on it there with it takes everybody. It takes all of us, all hands on deck, and whether that's season tickets are on sale now. So everybody go on the ticket office website, buy your season tickets. Don't miss this. 2026 is going to be a year you want to be a part of, or donate. There's opportunities to give to the CAF, tax-deductible gift. Can directly impact NIL, which we're seeing effects of in real time. The energy is palpable, and we got to continue to jolt that in the arm. And Coach, appreciate you joining us.
Thank you, guys. Go Cougs.
Coach, keep up the great work. What a great conversation. There's so much fun. And coming up next, we not only get to talk to Coach today, but we've got a student athlete from the football program that's joining us right after this.
How do you spot a Coug in the wild? Head to toe crimson, gray, and, well, anything except purple? A simple go Cougs at an airport halfway around the globe? Or maybe just a little pride from BECU and some extra money in your pocket when you pay for your tacos. Get the card Cougs everywhere recognize. Join today. BECU. Go Cougs.
Well, our Cougar football talk rolls on this episode of the podcast. And John, our next guest, someone we're so excited to welcome in, and someone that played at Giesa Field last year, had an impact. And I know Coug fans everywhere are excited to see him playing for WSU moving forward.
Yeah, Matyus McLain, welcome, my man. You're a Coug.
Yes, sir. I'm excited to be here.
Well, thanks for joining us. I know as classes get rolling, it's probably pretty hectic. You've got some practice, workouts, class, so appreciate the time. You've grown up in the area, northern Idaho, familiar with the Cougs. Tell us maybe a little bit about your upbringing, your childhood, and what makes you excited to be a Coug.
I'm from a real small town, Priest River, Idaho, about an hour north of Coeur d'Alene. And then just growing up, like I've had, I think, 17 family members in the last 3 generations that graduated from Wazoo.
Let's go.
So, like we were always down here watching games. We've been to football games, basketball games, some track events. So I've just been in the area my whole life, and I'm excited to like permanently be here.
Wow. Well, I think it's fair to say that you pretty closely followed WSU growing up. And for
Right.
you, your path, you played your first 3 years at Idaho before arriving in Pullman. What was the recruiting process like that ultimately got you to campus and to Pullman and to being a Coug?
I think the transfer portal, I mean, everybody knows it's like a hard time for everybody. That decision to leave Idaho, it wasn't an easy one. It was hard because I really did love it there. But I think at the end of the day, I was searching for a bigger opportunity. And I knew throughout the recruiting process in the short portal window that Wazoo could provide that for me.
So you're coming in with a number of new players, learning a new staff, learning new teammates. Some of the new teammates are learning new teammates. It's a big transition year, but maybe talk about what that transition has been like for you.
It's been super fun. I've been welcomed with open arms, and just every day getting to see them and learn everybody's names and trying to remember the right guy. But they're all super nice people. They're all super fun to be around, super funny, and just working out with them every day is awesome.
Matyus, take us back. The opener, the 2025 season, you were with Idaho. Idaho makes the short trip over to Pullman at Giesa Field. You're playing against the Cougs. You had an impact in that game and one that went right down to the wire. What was that experience like?
I mean, that was super fun. I wish it would have went Idaho's way, obviously, because I was on the team then. But it was just super exciting, super fun. I love having fun out on the football field. That's what I'm all about.
So maybe are you a visual person, Matyus?
For
So
the most part.
if when you're getting hyped up for a game, I'm not a high performing athlete. You may find that hard to believe. I peaked at like noon ball. But when you're getting ready for a game and you're visualizing, what excites you about? Is it like you're picturing you coming off the edge and just smoking a quarterback, or what's the visualization process for you?
A lot of people like try to get angry and like get like frustrated and get all like that. I'm a big just stay happy guy. I'm all smiles. I'm dancing out there. My coaches would get mad at me sometimes for dancing when I shouldn't be. But like I'm just all about having fun, and then I just know like what I'm supposed to. I know that I can do my job and that I can't control anyone else. So that's what I'm going out there to do.
Is there a particular style of music that's playing in your head when you're doing those dance moves?
I listen to a lot of the Bee Gees,
There you
whatever.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Showing
That's
some
my
eclecticness there, some culture. I like it. What do you do away from the football field?
I love to swim. I mean, being from Priest River, there was water everywhere. Grew up swimming all the time, and then I really like watching film outside of the football field. I love turning on a game. I'm a big fan of the UFL. I love watching their games. I like their style of broadcast, and it's super fun to watch. And then I love playing video games with my little brother.
What's your go-to?
Go to a video game?
Yeah.
Oh man, we play just any game we can play online. A lot of Battlefield games like Battlefield 5 or like Battlefront.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Anything as you prepare for this season, as you get any thoughts to share with Coug Nation? They're excited. There's been some buzz. Obviously, you being across the border, people were familiar with your production. Obviously, you did that to us last year. Anything in particular you want to share, or any charge to Coug Nation that's getting ready to watch you and cheer you on?
I mean, just know that my process is going to remain the same. The process that got me here, the process that allowed me to dominate all season in Idaho, that's going to remain the exact same, and that's what you can expect from me on Saturdays on the field.
I love that, the dominance. I love it.
Well, I think that is a perfect way to wrap up this episode. Matyus, it's great having you as a Coug. Thanks for being here today, and can't wait for what's to come. And thanks to not only to Matyus, but to all of our guests. This episode can get everyone especially geared up for what is to come in the future. Kirby Moore and Brad Hutchins, as always, to Jon Haarlow. That will do it. And I want to say as well, a big thank you to our presenting sponsor, BECU, for making the podcast possible. That will do it for this edition of the Inside WSU Athletics podcast. Thanks for listening, and go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.